Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Iron on Wrestling with Gregory Iron. I'm your host, Gregory Iron. This is episode 259. So divine. And good to see you all again. And all right.
We'll always pardon the interruption.
Really? That's where you went with it?
Yeah. I'm pardoning that interruption, you son of a gun.
Okay.
I gunned it because I don't want to curse.
Yeah.
In the first 38 seconds of our stuff here. But this is Aaron Bauer, and I'm in the building. What you doing?
Hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, a little to the left there. Is that a problem for you?
You don't know that.
I'm just looking at it right now.
Just because
Your shorts are so short.
Just because my right doesn't function properly doesn't mean things can't also lean to the right, okay?
Yeah. Well, you've been leaning to the right a lot lately. I saw you.
Don't make this a political thing. You're the one with Trump Social.
Hey, I'll read those later.
Oh, okay. Oh, boy, stay tuned. I think you should make it clear that you are not for or against Donald Trump.
No. I'm just for the emails that he sends me and the text messages on a daily. Probably 19 a day I get.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I see our friend, the DJ Jeff Traxler, has been posting some stuff that he gets from the Biden administration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's, it's a thing he does.
Hey, you know what, though? Something that isn't political that I sent to you this weekend.
That pic?
Which pic am I referring to?
Are we supposed to talk about that on there? You said you were having a good day. It was a little bit bigger than normal.
I sent you the pic of...
it wasn't leaning to the left?
The guy from Waterboy with my brother.
Oh, yeah. So how'd that go?
Peter Dante.
Yeah.
The guy
Pete.
Who famously says, the things like needle dick. Yeah, that guy.
He's been in everything, though, with Sandler. I think he's probably been down with Sandler since day one.
Yeah.
And I know that he was in, like, The GOAT in Sandler's, like, comedy sketch albums.
Yeah.
So I know his voice from that. I've seen him in the one where the boy pees on the wall.
Yeah.
I can wipe my own.
That's Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great film. So my brother was in Detroit this weekend for a wrestling show. This dude happens to be friends with Darren McCarty, former Detroit Red Wings player, and he's good friends with Zach. And he was just hanging out, and Zach got to hang out with him, and he said he was cool as heck. But, of course, me being me, Zach writes me to show me the picture, okay?
Yeah,
very excited that he met him, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I'll post this probably on Patreon at the very least, patreon.com/Iron Wrestling, but I'll probably also post it on social media. I responded to the photo. Dude, hell yes. Did you smoke with him? Because my brother is a big fan of the marijuana, and apparently so is this guy. And he said, absolutely did. I said, hell yes. Was he cool?
Yeah.
He said, so fucking cool. Literally hugged me and told me he loved me. Haha.
Man. I got some love stories to tell in a minute.
And I responded, what? With what spelled W-U-T?
Yeah.
And then he said, yeah, and kissed me on the cheek the first time meeting me today. Wild. Think he may have been drinking too. And I said, and then I responded again with now capital letters, W-U-T, what? And then he said, brought me in for a hug when Darren introduced me to him, hugged me, kissed me on the cheek, and said, I love you. LMAO, weird world. My response, did you get aroused? He said, no, you fucking weirdo. Why do you take things to the next level? And then I stopped replying because I knew I pissed him off. So, but yeah.
I don't get this. Why do people even feed into this with you?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's the same. Johnny does that to you, and then you get upset, and you complain it on their paid version.
Yeah.
And I don't get that. I don't get why you give in to Johnny like that. It's so easy to get
I understand it's a bit, though.
Whatever. You don't understand shit.
I think, look, if there's two people in my life that I can depend on to understand and go with a good bit, it's you and Johnny. Okay? Outside of that, though, I don't have anyone in my life that will, like, banter with me back and forth. Like with the text messages, even in the text messages.
Yeah.
Like, we both consciously know this is going to turn into a bit. He keeps fucking sending me photos and videos of the Rizzler, this being Johnny, telling me that I'll never be as good as the Rizzler. And I'm like, he sent me something today where dude was on a bicycle or something doing his Rizzler face or whatever. And I said, this needs to stop. And then he responded with, you're just mad you'll never be as good or as talented as him. And I just didn't reply because I'm like, you know what? I'm not fighting this right now. The Rizzler sucks, okay? He's a small child and he sucks.
How
and
old is the Rizzler?
Who cares? He's morbidly obese for his age, okay? And he needs to go on a strict diet. And his
Are you
father,
doing this for real?
or his family is exploiting him. And it's not cool, okay? So let's just call it like it is. People laugh at him because he's got big cheeks, okay? And his name's the fucking Rizzler, okay?
Well, here, I will say this.
Please.
My youngest went on a walk with a girl.
Okay.
And 2.5 hours they went on this walk. And they came back, and I didn't know that he was even into girls yet, right? So then I asked my oldest about it the next day, and he goes, he fucking called himself the Rizzler.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. What an
So I don't get, what's this Rizzler? I think you might have explained it to me before. He's just a kid with a dad that goes to Costco.
So the Costco guys, okay? And you didn't even see them on AEW. They were on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I asked you about it, and I said I saw the Rizzler on AEW, and you're like, no, that's not the Rizzler. That's the Costco.
No, so the Rizzler is a part of the Costco guys. He's part of the people are calling it the Costco universe, which is fucking crazy that this is a real thing. These motherfuckers. Here's something else I want to talk about. Hold on. So before I explain, you know what? I don't even want to explain this. Just look it up. Costco guys, the fucking dad, and like I think the kid that was on AEW is like his son, and the Rizzler somehow related to the family, and there's like a whole thing. The dad.
Yeah.
He was an indie wrestler, okay?
Okay.
And
so it automatically sucks.
So he was like an indie wrestler in Jersey.
Okay.
Now, I know that he wrestled in like either one of Nova's last matches.
Okay.
Because he's friends with Nova. Or it was his final match at the time. I don't think he's wrestled since then. But this is years ago.
Yeah.
I usually don't give a shit about the PW 500. Okay, I've been in it plenty of times. I didn't place this year.
You're real heated right now.
I'm not heated.
You're heated.
No, let me find the fucking thing that Johnny sent it to me to rub it in my face. Okay, so it's in my Instagram messages. He sends me the page from one of the PWI 500 rankings. Okay, ranked at number 236 is Eric Justice. That's the name of the dad from the Costco guys. Okay.
Brother of Matt Justice.
I want to read what his bio says for number 236. Now, on this page, he's ahead of Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Okay? He's ranked higher than Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah. Why are you so mad right
19
now?
years. Last year not listed. Go figure, because he wasn't relevant. A.K.A. the American Power Child. A.K.A. Big AJ. A.K.A. the Costco Dad. Veteran performer hailing out of New Jersey by way of Florida, who has tag teamed with Supernova and Blue Meanie of the Blue World Order. Known for his power slam, moonsault, and bringing the boom.
Ooh.
Frequent ally of Sally Slices and the Rizzler. Now, when I read that, was there a word that stuck out to you in there? When I talked about his in-ring accomplishments. Now, mind you, this is for the year of 2023 to 2024. So this would have been like
Slam?
No. This has been I think July through July, 23 to 24. I would say the word would be has.
Oh, okay.
Has teamed with Supernova and Blue Meanie of the Blue World Order. Now, one might believe that happened in the last year. It has not.
Okay.
Nova has not wrestled in years.
Yeah.
They're listing something from years ago as an excuse to put his picture and his bio in the goddamn PWI 500, which, again...
You sound like a mark, bro.
No, I don't usually care about this. This guy didn't even wrestle. He didn't even wrestle.
And it's not a real publication.
I am not ranked.
It's not a real list.
This guy is ahead of Kyle O'Reilly and several other guys. I think he's ahead of Gargano. Gargano should be pissed.
I don't know if he's half as mad as you would be.
Gargano has main evented SmackDown several times.
Oh, yeah, the one in Cleveland, I remember. I don't know. What have you main evented?
More shit than the goddamn Costco dad.
So you're upset that he used to team with Nova when Nova was a big deal in the BWO?
No.
Wow.
When they list the accomplishments, it's the accomplishment in the last year of the ranking.
Yeah.
He hasn't wrestled.
I guess I never took that thing. Like, I guess I should be mad, too, because I'm not listed in the commentary. But back when I did it all the time, they didn't even have a commentator section. I should be number 6.
I think that's a new thing they just made.
Where do you think I should rank in that? Color commentators. Am I
In the last year?
Yeah,
You should be ranked.
Why not? I did that mega show with you.
You did one mega show.
Yeah. I was good enough to have done that. Was like a best of. I hit all my greatest hits. I was with Joe Dombrowski that night. Do you think I'm above or below Veda?
Don't do this to me, okay? Don't put me in between this. I responded to the page that he sent to me.
Yeah.
And I said, did he even wrestle last year?
Yeah.
And he said, higher than Kyle O'Reilly, give him his respect, boom.
Yeah.
And I said, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then he responded with double chunk chocolate cookie, which I don't even know if you understand, but that's his big thing that he says. Double chunk chocolate cookie. And they like fucking try it. And then they give it a boom. Or they rank it how high on the boom. It's either a boom or a doom. Fucking bullshit, okay? It's stupid. It's stupid. And if you like the Costco guys, I got no respect for you.
I think I'll give these guys a follow.
Don't do it.
Oh. So where did this come from? We were talking about Rizzlers or something? Yeah, Twizzlers?
The Rizzler.
Okay, but let's get back on track to our point, because our very special guest should be here as long as he's been resurrected from his untimely passing last week.
Way better than the Rizzler. Way more talented than the Rizzler.
Who is? Chris Cole?
Killa Chris Cole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, probably than the Rizzler or his dad.
We're going to finish off the third part of our interview with him.
I think if I come back to wrestling, my name's going to be the Jizzler.
Don't do that.
Huh? What? What do you think my finish will be?
Very disgusting.
Hey, dude, let me tell you about my week real quick.
Sure.
Been trying to get my kid a haircut for a long time.
Okay.
Guess who came through?
Brutus, the fucking barber beefcake. How much Coke did you have to give him?
No Coke, but we're going to get to Coke in a minute because I got another question for you.
Okay.
But way better than Brutus the barber beefcake. It was Mommy Gargano. Came through in the clutch, baby.
Oh, okay.
My kid is rocking a haircut and a hairstyle given to him by a WWE Superstar's mother.
Did he get a flat
top? It looks good.
Flat top?
No. I don't think kids do flat tops anymore.
Really?
He got whatever. I think it's called the dill or something.
The what?
I can't remember what he called it.
Is that what they're really calling it? The
I
little
don't know.
perm gimmick?
No, it's where it's cut in the front like Jim Carrey.
What? What year Jim Carrey?
Dumb and Dumber.
No, that's not good.
No. He was saying that's the new hairstyle. He didn't get that.
What?
He got that poofy thing.
That's really a new hairstyle?
Yeah. And then he showed me and Johnny's mom.
Like putting a bowl on the head, basically, and just cutting across?
But only in the front. The rest of it is like shagged out or got a fade. Yeah. It's crazy. And so then I went and I had to look this up while they were cutting hair and stuff. And I'm telling you, this is a real deal, man. People are getting it, and then like with a lightning bolt in the back.
Oh, boy. In honor of JT Lightning.
I guess so.
Lightning strikes. Wow.
So, so shout out to Mommy Gargano for that. That was great. Helped us out big time in the clutch. You know, my kid's back to school. Can't be looking like a jobber going into school. Also, so then I said I wanted to bring up the whole Coke thing. And I know if anybody knows anything about Coke, it's you.
No, it'd be my mother.
No. Well, it would have been.
Oh, yeah. R.I.P., Mom, as I look down to the ground where she's, below the ground, like to the core where she's burning for eternity.
I know you would never snort cocaine, but if your mother was burned and there were ashes, would you snort your mother so that way?
No.
No? I wouldn't snort mine either.
No, it's probably for the best.
Would you urinate on the ashes? Like in Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little urination, But I'd be afraid that
you'd get infected.
No, like the dog that resurrects Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yeah.
That's how they couldn't think of a better way in Nightmare 4 how to bring Freddy back to life. So in the junkyard that he's buried in, a dog walks up and pees on the ground, and then all of a sudden it turns into flames. And
I never got to 4.
Freddy comes out of the ground and he's back to life. So I'd be afraid that it would bring my mom back to life. Basically, what I'm saying. And
all right. Well, anyway, we're getting off the subject here. We're talking about Coke here, and I like Coke Zero. You like Coke Zero.
Sure.
It might be number one in both of our hearts and in our taste buds.
Well,
but
it went down when it got reformulated. I'll be honest.
So you say. I like it better. However, do you like this new one that's out now? It's called Oreo Coke Zero.
Coke Zero Oreo.
Yeah. See, I've never eaten chocolate, so I don't fuck with chocolate. Tell me.
It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah?
I don't know. You didn't see my Instagram story? I posted it last night, a picture of the Coke Zero.
Oh, man. I'm not on my phone all like that like you.
I said my exact quote on the story with the picture and nice mood lighting.
Yeah.
And I said, this shit is disgusting. I mean, it's not – you shouldn't combine those things.
Yeah, it's like dunking your cookie in a Coke. Is that what it is?
No,
or just
I don't.
Gross?
I just can't explain it. It's like
okay. Also, I need to know then about stories. I've never looked at anyone's story. Is that
Instagram story?
Yeah. Is that better than looking at their the pictures they post?
Sometimes.
Because I'll post a story sometimes, and then I'll see everybody that looked at my story.
Yeah.
And I can't see that if I just post a picture. So I know when my ex-girlfriends, know that I'm the one that got away.
And your ex-boyfriends.
All of them. I don't care who it is.
I don't think I'm going to explain Instagram stories to you. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe off the air?
Sure.
Okay.
Grandpa. What the fuck? Why am I... You need to buy a new phone? You're going to go argue with the phone people?
Hang on. I would check my phone right now, but I don't have minutes yet.
Oh, boy.
I got to run to the store. If we could pause this, I'll go to Dollar General.
I just feel like Oreos and milk... Yeah, that makes sense because you dip cookies in milk. But who in the hell is dipping Oreo and Coke? And also, I mean, it just doesn't go together. Like liquid Oreo pop, it's not good. And
it sounds like they were really reaching on this one.
I posted it to my story, and the replies I'm getting is like, "You're wrong on this one, and this shit is great." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" My thing is, I think at this point, Coke is just they've been doing this for a couple years now. They come out with these mystery flavors or these one-off weird flavors now where it's they know you'll buy it at least once.
Yeah.
Just to try it out of the curiosity.
And they're all gross.
And I'll never, I bought 2 bottles. I'm just in case I like it. But I don't like it. So guess what? The other one's going down the drain. I'm not drinking it.
Just give it to some homeless
person.
It's
gross. No.
Give it to one of those Haitians.
In Springfield?
Aren't you by Springfield?
I'm not close. No. No.
Homer Simpson is.
Freddy Krueger, Springfield.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So,
a lot of Freddy Krueger references here somehow.
Yeah.
It's a spooky season,
It is a spooky season. Have you started decorating for Halloween? I know you were talking to me about that not too long ago.
A little bit. Haven't gone too crazy.
I don't think I'm going to do it here.
Okay.
This year. The kids are kind of just over that stuff. But I'm going to do it up at work because podcast superstar Jerry just donated 6 huge moving boxes of things because they always do it real big for Halloween.
Wow.
So we've got mannequins and heads, like Al Snow heads and things like that, and all kinds of masks, old costumes that they don't wear anymore. A lot of fishnets.
Okay.
Not sure who... That's probably from him.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So, but I'm ready for the season.
Yeah.
Are you ready for hoodies and campfires and fall leaves and Friday night football?
I do enjoy all that stuff except for the football thing because that's fake. And for some reason, my brother was really adamant about watching the Browns yesterday, and I don't know where that came from. But
that was a lot of fun. The Browns won the game of football.
Okay.
They almost lost it.
Yeah, they changed the script. Originally,
I think they were started shooting.
Johnny was at that game.
Yeah, I know.
With Vic.
Yeah, and Jacob Fatu.
I heard that Jacob Fatu was lurking in the background.
Eating an Easter egg.
I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff I want to cover, but it might be an extended version or it just might be a separate bonus episode, patreon.com/Iron Wrestling, because, we're waiting for the arrival of Killa Chris Cole. We don't know how long we're going to go. We're going to talk a little bit about mental health.
Is it right now on your phone?
It doesn't matter because it's not going to match up with what we're telling the audience who might be
No,
because
I told Killer Chris Cole a specific time I wanted him to be.
6:17.
Okay, he's got 17 minutes to be here.
What time did you tell him?
6:34.
Okay, that's weird.
Oh, I just hit 3 random numbers in my phone when he said, what time should I be there?
Okay.
So 6:34 is what came up.
All
Hey,
right.
if you're out there right now and you want to play that, do people still do a 3-digit lottery?
I don't know.
Okay,
I
well,
don't know.
that's a magic number.
But patreon.com/Iron Wrestling, where you get a buttload of bonus content. We'll be talking about some of the new recent events in the world of wrestling, SmackDown and the logo change and how the first episode of SmackDown USA was. We'll be talking about the destruction of Aaron's house as things go crashing in the background.
Every week now.
Nigel McGuinness's announced return to wrestling, and if there should have been a build, we'll be talking about end credits being added to WWE. Maybe a little bit of Kevin Nash and Logan Paul, decreasing of house shows and whatever else crosses our mind. So patreon.com/Iron Wrestling. And guess what? We'll definitely be talking about stuff that we will never talk about on the regular podcast. And if you go up and up and up in the tiers to the $9 and above tier, you get involved in Zoom chats with us where we talk about stuff that you really won't have on any recorded version of the podcast, because sometimes we are shooting, brother. We're shooting hard. And you're going to want to check that out, patreon.com/Iron Wrestling. And hey, remember, you can also get stuff in the mail from us. The $25 and up tier, you will get a package in the mail, which I'll be packing some of those packages from Howard Steele in the coming week to send out for the month of September. And if you jump on board now, the next package isn't coming out until December. So if you want a Christmas Iron on Wrestling package, you're going to have to jump on board by no later than November. Got to be around for at least 2 months to get that package from us. Patreon.com/Iron Wrestling. It's the best way to support the show. And I guess now that we've got some of the plugs out of the way, why don't we pay some bills, and when we come back, we will get to our interview with Killa Chris Cole. What do you say?
I like that idea. I want to tell you real quick. I tried chicken tenders on a pizza.
Okay.
I only had one slice, and I thought it was delicious. Your thoughts on, do you think that's something that should be done? So it's essentially chicken tenders, maybe like a chicken parm pizza then, because it's a chicken tender breaded, dipped into marinara sauce.
There's something that seems really poor about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't explain it.
No.
It'd be like if I guess the equivalent for me is like Cheetos is like the ultimate poor person food.
Yeah. Okay.
So I feel like if you put like a bunch of Cheetos on a pizza, I'd be like, yeah, that's like one step.
That's like Taco Bell business right there. You know what I mean? They're always doing like a Cheez-It and their Crunch Wrap and your place, Little Caesars with their big pretzel pizza.
Listen,
I bet they'd put some Cheetos inside of a crust or something.
If they did that, I wouldn't support it.
Oh, I'd eat it.
No.
No.
Terrible.
Okay.
Cheetos are horrible for you.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
Really?
I mean, I probably would just try it though. All right, I'll miss you.
Let's pay some bills and come right back.
Bye. Hey, brother. How's battery power?
Battery power is pretty good, I would say.
That's not the only thing that's pretty good these days.
What's
Your
that?
power's looking good.
What?
Yeah, you're
Oh.
looking real strong, like you're almost to the max.
Yeah, you see this vascularity?
Yeah, I
good.
see the vein in your penis.
That's not something that is out right now.
Oh.
Just want to clarify. I was
Well,
talking about my arms.
I was trying to talk about our friends at TNT Health.
Okay. Well, I don't know why you needed to reference my penis for that, but
It looks like you've been working it out.
no penile products that I've been using from TNT-health.com, but I have been utilizing their creatine, and I've been using their glutamine for my post-workout. It helps my muscles recover, which I, very much appreciate. Soreness is okay, but if I can sort of take away a little bit of that soreness, that makes my life a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been into the Rad 150.
Okay.
Got my shipment.
How rad is it?
Dude, It's radical.
Okay. All right.
So
Cowabunga.
it's like the Rad 140, but
Okay.
like 10 better.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. But
So I've only been, this is, I think, my second week, and I'm starting to feel it.
Mhm.
I'm starting to feel it in my arms, in my legs,
Okay.
in my pants.
What did you say?
In my pants.
But you said the pens. Was
Yeah,
there
I
a
did.
reason for that?
Oh, because I was saying things.
Okay. Okay. Well, whether it's your pants or your pants that you're wearing right now as you're listening to this, if you go on tnt-health.com, you can save 10% with promo code IRONON. That's IRONON. Save 10% on anything you buy. And you know what? Mike over at TNT Health will be with you every step of the way. He wants to help you get results. And he knows you're not perfect. So, if you're, falling off the wagon 20% of the time, that's okay. But he'll keep you on track. And, just ask some of the people over at our Patreon that have bought some products from Mike recently. He's always talking to you about your progress. He's keeping track of your macros for you.
This lady at work,
I'm sorry.
she
what?
bought one.
What's her name?
I can't say it out loud. I mean, I don't know that she
Okay,
wants me to.
that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. But you know what? Listen, try to get someone to do all that in addition to the products you buy at like a vitamin shop or a GNC. Guess what? It's not going to happen. So what are you waiting for? Go to tnt-health.com. Buy any of the products. Save 10% with Iron On promo code. And get started today, because with TNT Health, it's about your health today, not tomorrow.
Speaking of tomorrow, you know what tomorrow is?
As we record this, it would be Tuesday.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
You know what happens on Tuesdays?
Tacos are eaten, usually on Tuesdays.
Yes. Presented by a man by the name of Taco Bell.
Oh.
Now, recently, I was at this Taco Palooza
Okay.
over the weekend where our guest, Chris Cole's son, was on stage performing live.
Okay.
He's a drummer
Okay. Yes.
for a band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so, but there was also a Lucha Libre show there.
Okay.
And while I was watching the Lucha Libre show, I saw this Savage guy, and he was wrestling Taco Bell. And I was thinking, if I wanted to get a shirt to commemorate the time that I would see Chris Cole's son play live on stage at the Nautica, I would get a T-shirt that had two clouds.
Hold on.
Okay.
To clarify, can we just say that Taco Bell is also shitbag promoter David Tower? Just to make
Okay,
it clear, or
okay. If you
whatever.
want to use his government, that's fine.
That's fine. Like, so I think it's Todd, first name Todd, last name Cobell on some occasions, but then also
Okay.
David Tower, and then whatever other fake wrestling name he's going by now to weasel his way out of not paying people like me that he owes money, or Gangrel, people like that. But continue. Go ahead.
Okay, so he's up in heaven
Oh, but
on a cloud,
I don't think he's going to go to heaven, but okay.
and he's up there with his opponent, the Savage.
Wait a minute. Who's doing this design?
Oh, Juan of the Ortiz.
Juan Ortiz.
Yeah, he's a good buddy of
the
mine.
Dead Designs
Yeah.
will be making this design. So, wait, can you put clouds in hell? Because I think
Yes.
that's where David Tower would be. For
Okay,
just
well, they're in hell.
being the horrible person that he is, if hell's a place.
Hades.
Okay.
We put it in Hades.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're on clouds, and they have lucha masks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on these clouds, and one of them is holding a taco, and the other one is holding a bell.
Okay.
And Mass Transit's dad is there.
Wow. Okay.
And
Jesus Christ.
he's saying, "Ring the fucking bell."
All right.
He's only 17.
Oh.
He's only 17.
What is happening? Mixing a lot of worlds here together, but I guess in hell, if you're a bad person. Wait, what did he do to go to hell? You know what? I don't even want to know. He seems like he was just concerned about his child. I don't know if that's like banishment into
Well, he
eternal
lied.
damnation. He lied? The father?
I think so. I think because
know.
he first said, "Yeah, my son's 18. He can wrestle on your show."
So he gets to go to hell?
Lying is one of the 8 deadly sins.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that by now,
All right, that's fair. So I guess, look, Juan, this seems like a complicated design, but I know you're up for the task because
anyone is.
Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs has created designs for the majority of top-tier talent that you see in every major promotion today, WWE, TNA, AEW, Ring of Honor. I was trying to think of all the major promotions. I had like a memory
Mega.
fart there for a second. Mega?
Yeah,
I don't know if
Mega
he's
Wrestling.
I don't think he's created any designs for Mega Wrestling. He's done
But
designs
for me?
us. Yeah, well, you
And
work
and
for
I'm
Mega.
in Mega Wrestling,
So I
and
guess
you're in
by-
Mega Wrestling.
Yeah, like sometimes.
And sometimes you're in MAGA Wrestling.
That's not true. No,
Oh.
that's stricken from the records there. That is not the case. But you also can get a design by Juan Ortiz because you know what? Even though he's doing designs for people like on their Titantron and on their T-shirts and in Hot Topic, he's affordable. And if you reach out to Juan right now and Of the Dead Designs, you can save $20 on your first design. So all you got to do is follow and message him on Instagram at Of the Dead Designs. Go to his Facebook, facebook.com/ofthedeaddesigns, or go to his website. What's his website again? I think you know.
Oh, he's on the Weebly.
Yeah. Do you know the website?
Yeah, Weebly.com.
Nope. That's
Yeah.
of the
One
dead.
of the...
Nope. Just stop. Ofthedead.weebly.com. Because Juan Ortiz and Of the Dead Designs, what are they doing over there? Can you say the catchphrase?
Yeah, bringing artwork to Weebly.
No, bringing artwork to life, you
Oh.
dumb son of a... All right, let's just... Hey,
Hey, Chris
How-
Cole's back from the dead.
he didn't die.
Oh, I announced that last week as
I
the
don't-
reason
yeah, I
why
don't-
he was absent.
Not sure why you did that. Seems very unnecessary to your friend, who's now
Well,
shaking his head here in the studio.
I've resurrected him through mouth to mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
Yeah.
I would have been like, one of those dudes that predicts things.
Hi, Chris Cole.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys.
How's life?
It's good. Sorry.
than the death, huh?
Better than death, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that I, too, will end up going to hell.
Oh no. Why?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, it's just, I feel like heaven's probably pretty hard to get into.
Yeah. You feel like the negative that you've done outweighs the positive?
No. I try to be pretty cool, but, like,
Very cool. Is
I...
that what you're going to say to God at the pearly gates?
Yeah,
Like, I think I've been
I
pretty
never
cool.
really, so it's like, all right, I never really went out of my way to be bad to anybody or anything like that. I always try to be rad, but I mean, like, there were days where I was beaten off a lot,
Oh, yeah.
and I feel like
Boy.
I don't know if you can come back from that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're talking like wrapping electrical cords around my neck and shit.
Oh, my God. Are you a dry guy, or are you using some sort of lubricant?
No, it's just like just dry, like punishing myself.
Okay. What?
You ever try sandpaper?
Oh, no.
No.
I told that story on this podcast before, right?
Retell it. Go
I
ahead.
use sandpaper.
That's it.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Thanks.
there it is. That's horrible.
Now, are you mean like sandpaper or like it was a guy named Sam Paper?
Oh, boy. I wouldn't be shocked by either, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Sometimes both.
Boy, this went off the rails in record time.
It did. Hobo Joe once told me that he used to do the method with the sandwich bag with lotion in between couch cushions. Have you ever done anything like that?
No.
No?
No.
Well, Chris Cole's not as weird as Hobo Joe, so that's a good thing.
I will say this: when I first started having what some people would call wet dreams, I would put a sandwich baggie on my penis and sleep at night because I didn't want to have a wet dream. And then, because we didn't have a washing machine at my house when I was
Yeah.
growing up,
Yeah.
so like you'd have to wait like 5 or 6 days in order to just
Jesus
to get to
Christ.
the laundromat.
Oh, boy.
And so I put a Ziploc bag on the penis
Yeah.
when I'd sleep at night. Very uncomfortable and sweaty.
Could you give the mic back to
Oh,
Chris,
yeah.
please?
It's not going to get any better
No.
with the mic over
okay.
here.
I have to imagine it can only go uphill.
Don't say that.
Last time you were here, we covered your humble beginnings in professional wrestling, your travels, some of the various forms of professional wrestling that you learned, training with Chris Hero, going to Arizona for a time, going to Japan. We talked about you working with the Dudley Boyz for a second. But at some point, where we left off is like, you had to make this decision, and you decided that I don't know, did you want or you needed to leave wrestling? And that was kind of the cliffhanger.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. it was like early 2011. I had just had my first son had been born in late 2010, and anytime pro wrestling was involved, I was never like a half in kind of guy. I was kind of all in, and that's just like it was going to be that way. So being a new dad is it's hard, it's stressful, and I didn't want to not be there. Holding down a full-time job and then, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, whatever, being gone. I don't want to do that. And that was half the reason. And the other half was I was just at a point where I was just fed up kind of with the business. Not even necessarily with the business because I always loved being in the ring, but like I distinctly remember the minute like that I decided I was done. I had just had a match, and I think one of the guys I was working with was complaining that I had him. I was squeezing too hard on a chin lock.
Okay.
During the match, and I was like, "Woof,"
Yeah.
And I was in the locker room. I was getting dressed, and I'm just kind of like that. Kind of peeved me off a little bit. And I'm kind of looking around the locker room as I'm kind of getting dressed, and like it's just like there's like one guy standing there and he's like butt naked and he has like his dick tucked between his legs, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like I'm a dad now. Like I've done all the things that I wanted to do. Like, what am I doing? And I was just so disgusted with everything that I was like, fuck it, I'm done. And I walked directly to the promoter and I was like, hey, the next show I'm done. Like that's it for me. Like I'm done. Like I don't want it anymore. I don't need it and I don't want it. And that's basically what it was. And I worked his next show. I worked a couple shows in between that. And then I finished that show, and that was it for me.
I mean, obviously, I would imagine, having a child definitely changes your perspective on a lot of things. But I got to imagine from a wrestling perspective, there had to be more than just that one moment in wrestling that led up to that.
Yeah, but that was kind of like that was like the minute where I decided.
What was the shit that started to get on your nerves? Because, like, I know that, like, sometimes I'm thinking about when I'm in locker rooms today, the moments and the situations where I'm like, God, why do I keep doing this? Like sometimes, without naming names, obviously I'm not traveling as much as I used to, but I think I'm also in a position where if I want to travel, I can, which is nice. Sometimes I'll have these moments where I do local shows where I see certain wrestlers that were pieces of shit when I started that are still around and still getting booked. It makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong, even though it's like I know that like I'm getting paid well to be on this show today. I like the majority of the other people in this locker room, but it's like there's like these 2 or 3 guys where it's like, geez, why? It's like you're a cockroach. Why don't you go away? It's like you being here in this locker room makes me feel like I'm failing in some way. So like I'll have moments like that, or just like with we sort of talked about it last time, like young kids who just seem like they know it all. They're not like watching other matches. They're not asking questions. It's like, why am I even wasting my time? What were the little things that were bothering you in the build up to this? Because I can't imagine with someone that is as passionate about wrestling as you, it was just like, oh, yep, guy with his dick tucked in, like, bye, I'm done. It's over.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Exactly. And that's what it was. It was just these little frustrations. And, like by that point I had been 13 years in, and that was 13 really physical years. And, like my body was just hurting, like my hips hurt all the time. And I just wasn't mentally in a really good place at that point. And I think we were supposed to touch on it at some point during this interview. Like, sometimes I don't make the best decisions when I'm not in the best place mentally. So it was just kind of the same thing. Like, I started looking at it, and like, I was never making great money, like, but it was fun money. You know, like, I could take the wife out to dinner, or, you know, we could go have a date night or whatever. You know, like, it wasn't paying the bills money, but it was free money, and I enjoyed earning that money because I really, really loved pro wrestling. Still do love pro wrestling. But it just, like, there kind of came in this, like, newer crop of guys that I feel like just didn't respect or appreciate the opportunity that they had in pro wrestling. And it was just kind of the same. Like, I'd come to these shows, and I would kind of see, like, the career 20 milers.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, if that's all if you want to get into the business, that's all you ever want to do is work your local show. Like, I'm 100%, I support you in that. Like, that's good. But you can't be that and have an attitude like you're better than anybody else there. Like, you can't come in and be, you know, King Dingaling.
It's like some of those guys, like, every now and then they get a bone, and they, like, they'll get, like, extra work or something. And, like, I don't know where it comes from, but it's those type of 20 milers that, like, maybe if they actually worked hard, they could, like, maybe possibly do something. But it's like they talk like, oh, like, you know, this is what the Fed wants, and, like, oh, Vince likes this, and yeah, like, when they talk like that, like, loud to where everybody in the locker room can hear them, like, oh, when I did extra work that one time, it's like it's moments like that where I'm just like, oh, you actually suck. Like, this is, like, your big claim to fame. You know what I mean? Like, it's shit like that really bothers me. You know, and I'm sure, you know what I'm like, these fucking guys, like these 20 milers, like, if they could come to terms with, like you were saying, like, this is what I do. That's what I want to do. But it's like sometimes a lot of these guys, I feel like they have these delusions of, like, well, like, you know, any day Tony Khan's going to be knocking on my door. And it's like, that's not how it works, dude.
Yeah. Like, maybe like a month or two prior, I had sat kind of like in the corner, like, getting ready. And I heard this conversation. This dude was like, I don't know exactly what the conversation was about, but he's like, oh, I'm a 14-time world champion or whatever. I'm like, dude, like, you're the fucking 14-time champion of, you know, Eastern Lorain County,
Yeah.
you know, Eagles Hall Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, like, just stop. Just stop. Like, don't do that.
Sure.
You know, and, like, it was the same thing. It was kind of like, bro, like, your delusions are getting out of control at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like, cool, you were the top guy in that group. Why don't you ever challenge yourself to go one level higher, and then go one level higher, and one level higher, and one, you know, like, I never could, like, understand, and I couldn't ever really relate to people that had, like, a natural talent and never did anything with it.
Sure.
And, like, I get aggravated about it a little bit because, like, I never had that natural talent. I had to work really, really hard at it to get good at pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And so I'd, like, watch these guys, and they have, like, a really great look, or they just have, you know, something about them that people just like, and they just kind of, like, squander it away being the big cheese.
Yeah.
You know, like, nowhere, instead of, you know, just being content with being the big fish in the small pond when they could be, you know, a little fish in a bigger pond, but have real potential to grow into a big fish in that bigger pond.
Where do you think the delusion and the disrespect comes from? Because I have a theory, and it involves, like, a cycle. Where do you think that comes from? Because you're saying towards the end in, like, 2011, you're getting all these, like, fucking idiots who are, like, you know, just very disrespectful and everything. Like, how is that happening?
I think it starts with bad training is part of the issue. And listen, sometimes you're going to train guys, and no matter what you do, you can't knock the idiot out of them. You know, but they're just going to be good and they're going to get workplaces, or they're going to not get work anywhere reputable, but they're going to keep getting work for these kind of like bottom tier groups. And then they're going to be the top guys in that bottom tier of promotion. And that's going to drive them to think they're way better. You know, that's the stuff that like has them showing up to WWE shows with their promotions tag team titles or whatever. Yeah. Like nobody cares.
Right.
Like we don't care that you're the TV champion of this, company that doesn't have TV.
Yeah.
Right. But like on the other hand, like and I sound like so negative about it, but I don't want to be, but like if that's what you want to be, that's cool. Like that's great. Like I'm glad that you achieved your goals, but like don't project onto everybody else that you're something that you're not. Like stay off social media talking about how you're the top guy or whatever. Like just don't do that.
Yeah.
Like just do what you're doing and be quiet about it, because there's guys that are out there really grinding it out and making the drives and, putting it on the line to get to where they want to be. And like, I don't need you muddying up the waters for those guys.
Yeah. So I think like, I think you hit the nail on the head with it when it comes to training. So like, tell me your thoughts on this. And I don't think we touched on this last time. Like me and Aaron have talked about it a bunch, and obviously he came up in that time frame, like the mid to late 90s when wrestling is starting to get really, really hot. There were some hanger-oners from that time that they wrestled in front of, near 1,000 people, over 1,000 people, but not because they were necessarily good, but because wrestling was so popular that if you put pro wrestling on the marquee, people would show up, right? It didn't matter who was wrestling. Like we've all heard the stories about like local backyard kids like running shows and drawing 1,000 people, right? So they're still around when I'm starting in like the mid 2000s, and they've been wrestling 10, 12 years at this point. But like you're supposed to respect these guys even though they, suck a dick. Like they're not good. They never were good, but like there's this delusion because like they were around guys that were actually doing stuff. They shared the locker room with them. And the fact that they were in front of crowds, and now in 2006, the houses aren't necessarily as good. It's like you have to like bow down before them. And there were so many guys that when I started, like I ran my mouth when I was a kid for sure. But there were guys that I still look back on that like even when I learned to shut my mouth, they were such assholes to me. And I remember like, boy, I can see through it because I started to learn like, if I want to be in a successful spot, I need to look to people that are in spots that I want to be in and that are doing stuff that I actually want to do. Not, Too Cool Abdul, who's like tag team champions at Cleveland All Pro Wrestling and really hasn't traveled too much, beyond Lorraine. And I always remember dudes that like talk down to me like that. And I thought to myself, like, in a couple of years, if I just keep my mouth shut and keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be so much better than you. You've been doing this for 10 or 12, right? And I think like there's this cycle of like, I feel like, and there's always like good kids in every crop that comes out. I feel like if they keep their head on straight, but I feel like the training, like now we're in a time period much like in the 90s where, and I think it's a little bit different. Correct me if I'm wrong, because like JT obviously was a real man, and like even though he was kind of self-taught, he surrounded himself with people that were really good and he learned from them. But now, without naming names, there's some people that are training that are only in these positions to train because promoters who run schools don't want to pay someone who's actually knowledgeable to train. And so now these kids that weren't trained very well or thought they knew it all to begin with, now they're training people. And now the new kids are being trained subpar. And because of the way that wrestling is filmed now with like streaming and everything, they got a couple monitors in the back. Someone's editing things in the back. It seems like a big production. These kids, big fish in small pond, don't want to travel anybody, like legends in their own mind. I think it's like perpetuating this like I'm better than I actually want to admit that I am type situation. And the training, that's where it all starts. It's the beginning and the end. I don't know. That's my rambling.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of it. like, I guess maybe it comes down to a lack of self-awareness. Because you can have, like, I would always hear like guys say, "Oh, I've been in the business for 15 years, kid, whatever." Like, well, cool, you've had like 32 matches.
Yes.
In those 15
exactly.
years. Like you're not out there doing it. Like you're, like, cool, you're undefeated. You've never been beaten. Awesome.
Yeah.
You've also never left the 216 area code.
Sure.
And I see a lot of that, and I'm just like, who, like, and this is still today, I see that there's, promotions ran like that, where, like, the people that are running it have no fucking clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. Like, if you want to get into the business and you don't have any fucking idea of what you're doing, cool. Get yourself somebody that knows what they're doing.
Sure.
And let them help you. Don't just think that you know what's best because you got a couple grand burning a hole in your pocket that you want to lose.
Yeah.
And it just it's just boggles my mind, man. Like, I guess for me it's just I can't understand people that are happy where they are and they just, like, they don't want more. Sure. And they refuse to kind of help themselves get where they are. And there's people that, like, I've had a lot of conversations with people over the years where, they're young, a couple years in the business, like, hey, what do I have to do to kind of get to the level where I travel out and I kind of expand my footprint.
Yeah.
And I've told these dudes a lot of times, like, listen, you have some good potential. Like, you have potential to do some good things, but be careful who you listen to and who you surround yourself with. And I've watched more than one of them go to underachieve, to do way less than they ever should because of the people they chose to surround themselves. It's the same. They would get in with that group of people.
Yeah. Well, like, look, having a positive social circle, like, that's an important part to succeed in life. And it's so many times in seminars, it's like, again, there's so much about life that I understand better because wrestling is like life. If you use the psychology of life, it's like if you surround yourself with dipshits, guess what? You're probably going to turn out to be a dipshit. And if you surround yourself with, like, good, positive influences, you're probably going to find yourself in a better situation. I mean, it doesn't seem like rocket science to me.
Yeah, and there's some confusion. Good, positive influences don't always necessarily mean yes men that tell you you're the best all the time.
Yes.
Sometimes you need the friend that's a shit stirrer and will tell you when you're wrong.
Sure.
Or when you're not doing the right thing. That's a good guy to have on your team, not just somebody that'll, kind of placate you.
I think that's incredibly important. I think if it wasn't for having honest people tell me what I sucked at, then I probably would have continued to suck at those things, and I would have never gotten better. But I feel like now, and it was probably like that back then too, like when a kid comes up and, like, wants you to tell you about how his match was, they just want you to, like, jerk them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dry or with lotion. It doesn't matter, Chris Cole.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, go get the electric cord, But, like, and part of the problem too is, like, we talked a little bit the last time about social media. And I think part of the problem was, these dudes will throw these videos up on Facebook or whatever, and they'll get a lot of likes on them. And they kind of get that, like, that dopamine rush from, getting these likes, but it's like their mom that's liking their video.
Sure.
It's not anybody, like, it's just the people that are, it's 25 out of the 1,500 people they have, followers or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a really low percentage of people that, that you're reaching.
Yeah.
And so I think they're just kind of fueled by all the wrong things sometimes. And I just, like, today when I go to shows and I talk to guys and girls about this, it's like, just be humble, like, seek out, make your heroes your peers, right? Like, seek out the people that have done it and have done it at a level that you want to be at, whatever that level is. If you would just want to be like a local guy, like, cool, seek out those people. If you want to be somebody that travels out of state, you got to seek those people out and find out. You have to do what they do. You know, watch the way that they interact, not even just in the ring, but in their, you know, in their life, like what they do. If you want to go national or global, like, watch those people and kind of emulate what those people do. And I think that's part of, like, that's like you just said, it's not just pro wrestling, that's life.
Yeah.
That's a life thing that you have to do.
When you were wrestling at your peak, like the end of the 90s, 2000s, like how many guys were driven by money? Because, like, so I remember when I'm going to indie shows, like, as a fan, again, you have these delusions because maybe you're following WWE and you're like, I remember specifically seeing, like, M-Dog and knowing him from the Backyard Wrestling game, but, like, Paul, he's wrestling this little Cleveland All-Pro Wrestling show. He's got to get $1,000-$2,000 a show, I would imagine, right? And, like, and you know, obviously I know probably what he was getting paid now, but it's like you said, like, you know, for you, like, wrestling's like, hey, I got extra spending money, right? And like I could take my girl out, I could buy, you know, whatever the hell. Today, I feel like there's a delusion of pay based on, with most younger guys, well, I've been wrestling this long, I should get paid this much. And, like, that's the wrong attitude to have. And I feel like, you know, if you're doing wrestling for the money, like, that's pretty stupid. But, like, was there talk in the locker room about, like what was an average payday? What was a somewhere in the middle payday? And, like, what were, like, to your knowledge, what were, like, super indie guys getting around that time?
Yeah, so kind of like to touch on what you just said, I remember getting a review at my high school job that I was at for a while, and I was not happy with the money I was making, and my boss wrote in my review file, longevity does not equal promotability.
Yeah.
So, like, that's cool that you've been, you know, in the business for 8 years and you think that you should be making X amount of dollars. But speaking strictly business-wise, like, if I'm the promoter, I have to look at how much money you're bringing in. You know, if you're selling 10 tickets and that's all you're selling, and you want $500, that's not fiscally responsible,
sure.
Right? Like, I'll just find a guy that wants $50
yeah.
for that, you know, because it's like it works the way any business works. You know, if you're working in a factory and you make 100 pieces an hour and I only make $20 on those 100 pieces, I can't pay you $30 an hour and stay in business.
Right.
And I think that's part of the misconception is they go by how many years they've been around and not how many butts they put in seats. Like, I'm willing to pay you extra money if you know, plug the shit out of the shows on your social media or you film promos for me and send them to me and kind of, you know, help, you know, digitally get that word out.
Sure.
I'm more likely to pay you a little bit more money because I know that you're helping me, like, help me make money so that you can make money. But, like, at that time, like, a lot of guys I think were getting $20, you know, $25, kind of in that was, like, kind of the typical, like, local guy kind of pay, you know, not and I always had, like, you know, I made more than that, like, considerably more than that, but, like, when I would negotiate, you know, paydays with these promoters, and then there was some guys that I worked for that kind of got the ground floor rate, you know, that kind of put me on when nobody else really would.
Yeah.
So I always, you know, like, anytime I would work for Traxler, it was always a friendship rate. You know, anytime I would work for Shasta, it was always at a friendship rate. Like, they never got they got the, you know, 2001 deal, you know, because that's when I started with
sure.
them. And, you know, I would get bumps, you know, and pay, you know, every so often, just a little bit extra.
Pardon the interruption. You mean to tell me that Traxler, of all people, didn't pay you what you were worth? He took a shortcut on you?
That's not what I'm saying. But like that's kind of the deal that I had, like and then when I would talk to promoters that I really wasn't familiar with, it would be like, hey, I like to get this. Well, why do you think you justify that? Well, because I've been traveling steady for the last 7 years, and I've gone to this country, this country, this country, this country. This is what I can provide.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, I had promoters go, pfft. Like, all right, cool. Like, hire your $5 guys. Like, I'm not coming to do your show for $10. Like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, and see that's a problem. Like, it's like the example I always go to is like sometimes these promoters, like, let's say they reach out to Hulk Hogan. They want Hulk Hogan to show up at the show. Let's say Hulk Hogan could still do his thing, right? And Hulk Hogan says, I want $50,000. And then, because I know an example of this, that someone did this to a prominent wrestler. He goes, oh, I'm not paying you that rate. I'll just get someone else who can, in this example, cup their hand to their ear. And it's like they don't understand that, like, there's something more valuable that comes with just that cupping the hand to the ear, right? Like it's you can't just book anybody in that role. Like, there's something that's been established, and like, when you're throwing your credentials out there and telling them what you can offer, and they just go, no, I'll just pay someone cheaper. It's like, you don't understand the value and the commodity of what you're paying for.
Yeah, and that's part of that really was on us as pro wrestlers, because we kind of allowed this culture, like, well, I'll get this guy to do it cheaper, and the guy that does it cheaper isn't anybody that should be doing it.
Yeah.
And we just kind of let it happen collectively as a business when we should have been pushing those guys out.
Did money ever frustrate you when you started to get more of a reputation? Like, when people, because I know it still pisses me off today when it's like I reach out to someone and I give them my rate and what I need, and they'll come back at me. Or like a perfect example, about a year ago, I was going to North Carolina. Okay, worked at my rate, no problem. Didn't try to like go back and forth on that. Flight was taken care of, and then when it came time for my hotel, luckily, I'm still good friends with Lars Rockney. I was going to stay with Lars Rockney for a couple days anyways, but I just wanted to see what's my hotel situation, because I'm there for 2 days. Guy goes, oh, we never talked about that. Okay, motherfucker. Like, you're flying me in. I don't live in North Carolina. Why did you think it was okay not to get me a hotel? I feel like if my job wanted to fly me somewhere, they wouldn't be like, do you need a hotel? They would just do it. It's like common sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it, right? Like, shame on you for not negotiating that, like, on one side.
Yeah.
But also equally shame on the promoter for knowing that you would need a place to stay and not taking care of that for you. Like, that should just be, if I'm offering to fly you out, I feel like that I should also be offering to get you a place to stay.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily going to buy all your dinners while you're there because I'm paying you to come. And that's a business expense, whatever. But, like...
Would it have been better if they provided like? Would it have been better if they provided like well, there's a room in my house.
If they would
at
even
least
said that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like I'm coming into this blind where it's like, because like, listen, if it saved the promoter money, I slept on a extra bed. I've slept on a floor. You know what I mean? Like I mean, it's not ideal, but like if it's gonna save you a couple bucks and you're doing me, other favors elsewise, like as far as pay, like you're not. Okay, you know what I mean. Shut the fuck up. But like, you're not trying to barter back and forth with me. Like, well, could you do this, brother? Like, just like, come on, man. Like let's work together and make this happen, right? Like.
Yeah, like let's help each other facilitate this transaction.
Yeah.
Right. Let's, and I was the same way. Like, I don't need a hotel. Like, if you want to spring for that, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Or I would bake it into my rate.
Sure.
But like if you just have like a extra couch for me to sleep on, like, cool, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with that. All I need is like a couch and a shower.
Yeah.
But we kind of. I would never really get frustrated with that because I was always like, I'm going to do this my way or I'm not going to do it. So if I would come in contact with somebody and they're like, we can't really, like, okay, cool. Like, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Because I would rather just go and not work than work for somebody for $10.
Yeah.
And there was times where like, oh, hey, we're doing this thing. Can you help us out? Like, yeah, man, I'll just come down. You know?
Yeah.
I would do that sometimes, but no, like I would never get frustrated with money. I would sometimes, like, I'd hear, promoters where I would get frustrated is I would hear these guys talk about how much money they're making, and then everybody is making so little money.
Sure.
I'm like, so, you can't tell me I can't hear you tell this guy how much money you're making, and then you come in and tell us you're not making any money.
Right.
Like, you got to pick your story.
Yeah.
Are you broke? Or are you fucking us?
Sure.
Like, which one is it?
Yeah.
And it was kind of our faults because we let it happen. Like, we let all these shit promoters in that didn't know how to run a business, and they came in and, like, we let them get away with it, and we let them not pay guys what they were worth, which ultimately drives everybody down.
Yeah, 100%. So you alluded to earlier, one of the things, like leaving wrestling, frustrations, mental health. One of the things you mentioned was sometimes maybe you didn't make the best decisions. Now, as a straight edge kid myself in wrestling, I can also admit that I haven't made the best decisions, which led to maybe my adverse mental health. And I'll just put it out there, like probably my biggest problems as a professional wrestler was not knowing how to spend my money, whether it be from what I was making in wrestling or my other jobs or whatever, and B, comparison, which is, the thief of joy. Sometimes, like, I would see what some of my other friends are doing in wrestling and be like, fuck, man, like, why am I not getting that attention? And so this led to me mentally for a long, long period of time, probably from, almost my start in wrestling till probably I'd say about, 10 years ago now. And it was a slow process from that 10 years ago, is like starting to appreciate, even though I'm not in some positions that I would like to be in or that I dreamt to be in as a wrestler, all the things that I've done that other people would only continue to dream about, and really appreciate those moments and like how far I've come. If I were to talk to, 10-year-old Greg and show him like all that I'm doing, like he's not going to be like, well, how much money you're making? Did you go to WWE? I'm going to be like, hey, I talked to Stone Cold Steve Austin today on the phone. I don't think Greg would be like, did he pay you money? Is he going to get you a job? Like, he'd just be like, that's really cool, right? So, like, learning to appreciate those things, but, like, being so one-track minded, and, like, I mean, there's a period of time in my, like, I'm pretty pop culture literate, I would say. There's, like, a period of time where I'm, like, catching up actively on shows and movies from, like, the mid-2000s to, like, early 2010s, because it's just, like, it's just wrestling. If I'm not watching wrestling, then how am I going to succeed? So, like, where were those wrong decisions for you that fucked with your mental health?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like, shout out to the straight edge kids out there, because it's really hard to just go through raw dog in life.
Yeah,
right.
It's
like,
horrible.
It's you got to be in it to win it at that point.
Yeah.
Like I had, I think, some of the same problems that you did. Looking at guys and going like, well, why can't I be where he is? Like a lot of the times, like. And I was never really like a jealous person, but I could sometimes couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting those same kind of looks as other guys, and that was when I kind of was like finding my stride. That was a really hard time to get in, because there was no more ECW, there was no more WCW, there was no, like it was WWE or nothing. Yeah. Kind of, and that's a hard time. And you could go and work the indies, and there was some good like big name indies that you could do. But I would kind of like always be like, I always felt like I was like I always wanted to be the guy, but I was never really the guy. And it took me a long time to realize that. Once I realized that, I was a lot happier.
Yeah.
Like I remember thinking like, okay, like I've trained with Chris Hero. Like, why is Chris Hero getting all these opportunities and I'm not? And the reality is he was just way fucking better than I was.
Sure.
He was just way better. And you've got kind of the same story, like coming up with Gargano.
Yeah.
Like, the fucking kid's a prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I like what Johnny has become.
For sure.
You know, and I'm glad that he's kind of getting this, like, this kind of what he deserves. And like for a long time, I kind of like went against that because I'm like, I never really talked to him. I never really got to know him at all. We just didn't interact.
Yeah.
You know, even sharing locker rooms, we just didn't interact. And I would hear people back then talk about like how good he was. And I'm like, I would kind of look at it and I would just be like, yeah, but like he should be good. Like he spent the first year getting fed to, you know, Nigel McGuinness and Chad Collier and Tracy Smothers. Like you almost have to be good at that point.
Sure.
Right. And I kind of looked at it that way instead of like, well, maybe he's getting those opportunities because he's really fucking good. You know?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of in how you perceive those things. And one of the things that really had held me back is that I would never just shut the fuck up. If I was unhappy about something, you had to hear my mouth.
Yeah.
And it cost me a lot. It got me fired from a lot of places, got me, you know, lost me a lot of opportunities. You know, like I would have people tell me, hey, like, you know, this person, there was a person that was like booking out talent, kind of had a stable of guys that this person would like book out all over the country. Like, you know, they really want to work with you, but you know, it's just like you don't be quiet. Like you just, you know, like you just got to kind of be quiet and let things happen. And I'm like, that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not me.
Right.
So, you know, it's all in the way you kind of look at things and perceive things. And I wish that I had the wisdom when I was young that I have now, because you can look at it the other way. You know, like, and you would look at those guys that came up and had these like really kind of like meteoric rises, and you realize like it's not because their uncle runs the show or whatever. It's because they're fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, and when you prove that over and over and over again, you just got to respect it at that point.
Yeah.
You know, like you got, and those guys went out and they made for themselves.
Right.
You know.
So you stepped away. You know, you want to just raise your son and be a normal dude. What makes you want to venture back into professional wrestling?
Yeah. So like when I left was kind of I was noticing that I was this kind of goes back to like the mental health part of it, impacting my decision making. I was getting really frustrated and angry a lot. Not necessarily even wrestling, just like in life, like little things would kind of fucking, like I had like a hair trigger and I just had all this like anger just kind of bubbling like just below the surface. And this is something that I only solved recently, like, and I lived with this for years and years. And it's not even that I lived with it. Like my wife and kids lived with it too, because I would end up just being really volatile, you know. And I came to a point where like this was within like the last year or so that like I didn't like who I was. Like I was never supposed to be this guy. Like I've always tried to be, you know, really kind of friendly to everybody, just chill, just somebody that you generally want to be around. And that was always kind of like my goal. You know, like I wanted to be that guy, and I wasn't. And like I was just saying things that I shouldn't have been saying to people, like just being just a generally rotten person. And I kind of said to myself, like, okay, like, are you somebody that somebody would want to spend time with? And I was like, no. And sometimes like getting your shit together, it like has to start off with asking yourself some hard questions and being willing to kind of really look hard in the mirror and decide, you know, and pick your answers to those questions.
Yeah.
And so part of it was like going and talking to a therapist, you know, stuff like that. And there was, you know, like within the last year, I had like started a new job, and, you know, my mom got sick and passed away really quickly, and being her only son, that was kind of all left up to me. And So there was not really a lot of time. There was really no time. She got diagnosed at the end of August, and she was gone by the middle of November. So there was really not time for me to process that my mom is sick, because she was already so sick that it was like, okay, like, you have to come live with me, you know? So there's not time for me to really process that. And then my mom passes, and I have to make the funeral arrangements, and I have to take care of all her end of life stuff, and I have to set up all of that kind of stuff, you know? And so, like, there's no time for me to really grieve my mom, because I have to do all these things, you know? And also on top of that, like, you still have to go home and be dad, and you still have to go to work every day, and you still, you know, like, it's a lot to ask people to handle, you know, all at one time. And I remember talking to my doctor, because I ended up in the emergency room. I thought I was having a heart attack, and they're like, no, like, everything's good. You're having a panic attack. And I was like, dude, I don't fucking do panic attacks.
What did that feel like?
It felt like I thought I was dying. I thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't feel good for about a week. You know, when you just wake up and you just don't feel good. You're not necessarily sick. You just don't feel good.
Yeah.
And I would get these headaches, and I would just get these chest pains. And, like, there was times where, like, I couldn't breathe. I just couldn't get a breath in. And I was at work one night, and this is the day I decided I would go into the hospital. I was working the night shift, and I was wearing my my smartwatch or whatever, and I happened to look down, like, I just felt my heart pounding in my chest, and, like, I couldn't catch a breath. I was sweating, but, like, dripping sweat, like an ungodly amount of sweat. My hands were clammy, you know, and I couldn't get a breath in, and I was like just shaking, you know, and my whole left arm was numb. And I happened to look down at my watch, and my heart rate was like 140, and I was just sitting like in a chair. And typically my heart rate is like mid 60s.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, like, this isn't right, you know? So that's why I went into the ER, and they're like, no, like, you're having a panic attack. And I, you know, like I said, I was just like, no, like, I don't do, you know, like, I was rolling around in my underwear in front of, you know, crowds of people. Like, I don't do anxiety.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, well, you do now. You know, like, like, this is what it is. He's like, you know, you got new stress now. You know, you got kids at home, and you got, you know, the world is in such a weird place, and you got a wife, and, you know, you got to worry about, you know, like, how can you pay the bills, and, you know, like, whatever, and all this stuff that kind of you just carry through your life, and sometimes it gets the best of you. And I remember going in on a follow-up and talking to my doctor, and she's like, you know, do you want to do like you know, you want something to help you? And I'm like, you know, like, really, like, I was kind of like, why am I having these, like, what am I worried about? Like, I have 2 kids at home that think I'm the absolute best. You know, my wife adores me. Like, I have a great job. You know, I live in a nice house. Like, what do I have to be, you know, what do I have to panic about? Like, my life is great. And my doctor told me, like, just because there are people that have worse struggles than you doesn't mean that you don't have any struggles, and that you don't need somebody to talk to, and you don't need some help.
Yeah.
And that was, like, kind of like my come to Jesus moment. I was like, fuck, you know, you're right. Like, I might not have it as bad as some people, but that still doesn't mean that you don't have shit that you carry with you.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the start of it. And then I remember just one night I just had a fucking, like, a break. Like, everything that I had kind of put off for all those months just hit me all at once. And I was like, okay, like, I feel good now. And I started on some low dose anti-anxiety medicine, and I've never felt better. I lived with depression for 10 years and anxiety and never knew it. Like, I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
I just thought I was turning into a dickhead, you know. And fuck, man, like, I wish I could get that time back, because I feel so good now that I'm kind of in the right frame of mind that I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm the guy now that I should have been for the last decade.
Yeah.
And I feel awful that like I robbed my wife and my kids of that. And just the people, even friends, you know, that like I had, you know, had crosswords for because they did some sort of perceived slight to me, you know, which really it wasn't.
Well, but you know what? I totally get that. Like, I know it's hard. It's easier to say it than do it, but like, you can't live with that regret because there's a lot of people that, with my attitude problems and my fucking anger, like I wish, like, oh fuck, I wish I wouldn't have acted like this towards this person. Like when it came to like my obsession with wrestling at certain times, I wish I wouldn't have neglected certain things. But like, all you can do is apologize, attempt to change, and like also something to think about. It's like, how many people will never come to that realization what a fucking idiot they're being, or like that they need help? Like, that's sad. It's a sad situation. They continue to go down that path, and like they never make that change, and they never own up to their mistakes. And like, just the fact that you could be introspective and you realize and you caught it before it was too late. It's like, now, you know, we're not old. We like joke like we're all middle-aged men now, but like being in our like late 30s and early 40s, like we're so young and we have so much time.
Yeah. One of the things that I kind of had to learn is to give yourself a little bit of grace about it. And I had a falling out with my mom before she got diagnosed, and I didn't speak to her. I didn't let the kids see her for over a year. It was over a year. And, you know, then she gets diagnosed and she passes within 3 months. And I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I kept these kids away from her for all this time. You know, like, what a piece of shit I am. You know, but, like, you got to give yourself a little bit of grace, because who would have known that's how it was going to end up with, you know, in the end. And luckily I got the chance to kind of fix that with my mom and be with her, you know, at the end. But you got to give yourself some grace, and like you have to just kind of realize like you can't pour from an empty cup. You know, if you're not in the right place, how are you supposed to take care of everybody else if you're not okay?
Yeah.
And that was a thing that I had to learn, and you know, like so part of it was like I have to go through and I have to make things right with all these people. You know, so like I would reach out to him like, hey, if you want to talk, you know, send me a text, give me a call, whatever. Like, if you don't, cool. Like, I understand. Like, I get it. If you don't ever want to talk to me again, that's great. Like, I'm fine with that. And so like the cool thing, and I've said it for a long time, is the cool thing about human beings, like whether it's just, you know, relationships you've had with people, or if you got into drugs or anything like that, like, as long as you're alive, you're never so far gone that you can't come back. You know, you can turn that around, and you can kind of mend those relationships, and you can start doing the things that you can be where you want to be. You just have to work at it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at right now, and that, you know, that comes back to like what did I do that made me really happy in my life? And one of them was pro wrestling. And I kind of like, I was exactly like you. I neglected a lot of things for wrestling. Like I never, and it goes back to like the very beginning. I never went to my prom or my homecomings because I was out, you know, doing dates. And I never went to my family's, you know, my cousin's weddings or, you know, anything like that. I never did any of that because I was always out. And so now it's like, that's the stuff I want to do now. And I wanted to come back to pro wrestling because I feel like I'm fortunate enough to be able to come back and kind of be brought back in like with open arms. And I feel like I'm in a spot where I can make some really positive impacts on this kind of generation of guys and girls that are coming up.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I don't want to travel anymore. Like, if you want me to come work for you, great. Like, I have to be home by 11:30 in bed.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not doing the 600-mile trips anymore.
Sure.
Like, I just, and I want to come in. And I talked to a guy at Ricky's show that I haven't talked to in a long time. He's like, we're really interested in you bringing in or you coming in. You know, I'm like, cool. Like, he's like, just, you know, send me some ideas of what you want to do. And I was like, I don't want to send you any ideas of what I want to do. I want you to put a plan for me together, and I want to come in and I want to do it. Like this time around, I want to be really easy to work with.
Yeah.
I said the only thing I want to do is I want to work with young talent and help develop those guys. So if you could match me up with, guys that you think could, benefit from some of my knowledge, like cool, pair me up with those guys. If you just want to see me have fun matches, cool, we'll do that too. Like I'm good with that. And that's what I want to do now is I just want to help and I want to give back. And that's kind of like my life mantra, like better than you started, like better than you found it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. And it's been really cool to like talk to. I've reached out and I've like conversed with people that I don't really talk to a lot. And it's great to like hear their thoughts on it. And, like to be gone for so long. And I didn't necessarily leave the business on a bad note with anybody, but to be welcomed back so like fully is like, what a great feeling that is. You know what I mean? Like to just have everybody kind of open arms and say, hey, like we really want you to come back.
Did you ever think when you started in wrestling that you would feel so good and so artistically fulfilled to just help other kids? Because like I never thought I'd be good enough to do that, and now that I can help kids, again, it all goes back to life is wrestling and wrestling is life, right? Like when you're a kid and you receive gifts on Christmas, you're like, hell yeah, I got all these cool gifts. But then when you're able to like give back, boy, does that feel so much better. And that's where I feel like I'm in my life. Like I'm thankful that I can still travel occasionally. I don't like to do it as much, but I'm thankful that I can still do it. But man, if I can help people with whatever little knowledge that I've acquired over 18 years, God damn, does that feel so much better than anything else I'm doing as a performer.
Yeah, that's another matter of perspective too. Like I was, when I was younger, I wasn't easy to get along with all the time, and part of that was like knowing your worth, and part of that was me just being a dick just to be a dick. And I'm glad that I've been able to mature from that. And like, what a great position for me to be in, to be able to come back and, like I feel good now. Mentally I feel great. Physically I feel good. I've been in the gym working really hard, like trying to get, because I don't want to come back and do nostalgia shit. Like I want to come back and put on bangers.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like a stunt cast. Like, oh, here's this dude that did some shit 15 years ago. Like I want to contribute. I want to really contribute. And like, what a great place to be in, like that I'm able to come back and do that. Never in my wildest dreams did 16-year-old me think that in, that would be 98. So 25 years later, that I would be in a position to be able, as I'm in Samson's Powerhouse taking bumps on the floor and, shadow wrestling with myself and just trying to figure out where I was, in wrestling, but also in life. Like I never imagined that I would do all the cool shit I got to do. Like I never imagined that I would go to Europe, and I never imagined that I would, go to Japan and Korea and all these places, and do all the, like I'm standing in the ring, for Raw's Pyro or whatever to kind of sum up the last episode. Like,
yeah,
I never would have believed you. Like I wouldn't have believed you. But here we are, and this is a thing that I can do. And so I think that would be the biggest regret of my life, to not come back and do this again and be there to kind of go out on the note with, a light heart and a clear head, and go out the way that I want to go out. And the way I want to go out is by helping as many people as I can to get to where I wanted to be. I want everybody to get to experience the things that I got to experience through my pro wrestling career and in my life.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I think I speak for everyone listening. Myself and Aaron, we're happy to have you back. I'm glad that we got to have this conversation over the course of a few weeks. And
yeah, I've gotten a good bit of messages from people about the last couple episodes saying that they really enjoyed it. So you guys are welcome.
Well, thank you for the good content, but just thank you for being a good dude, and thank you for contributing to some positivity going forward in professional wrestling, because I feel like, there's some negatives and there's a lot of positives too, but like the more positive we have, especially for the next generation, the better. And Aaron, do you have anything that you'd like to add about the progress of your friend Chris Kole here?
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole story. I'm proud of it. I was trying to hold back maybe a little tear or two here, but the thing I really want to get to the bottom of those, you said you reconnected with some people that may have thought you were a shitty person before you reached out, you asked them in a text message, you just want to talk or whatever. Was one of those people the guy with his dick tucked between his legs? And if not, would you reach out to that guy and see if you guys could maybe do a tag match or something?
He doesn't even know like how he affected your life, I don't think.
Yeah, no, and like let's don't blame it all on Dick Tuck Guy, right? Like let's don't do that. Like it's not all him. It was just it was an amount like a. So like I had like my best friend for years, and I completely cut that person out of my life.
Oh,
and like
wow.
I never thought that I would have a day in my life where this dude wouldn't be a part of my life. And so like I got to patch that up, which is like amazing.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Like that's life is too short for it.
Yeah.
Life is too short for it. So, like and one thing I wanted to add to to just kind of put it out there, like if you're struggling and you got shit going on in your life and it's heavy for you, like, man, just even if I don't know you, just like hit me on the Facebook, like slide into the DMs and let's chat about it.
Yeah.
Because we live in a world like there's this stigma with, people that are dealing things in their mind, and like it's almost to the point like it's so bad where like dudes would literally rather kill themselves than talk to somebody about it and admit that they're having those struggles.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that, man. Like it's gonna get better, man. Like just reach out. Like talk to your friends, talk to your whoever you need to talk. Do whatever you got to do to get it out of you before it eats you alive.
That was the interview with Chris Kole.
Part 3.
We can't thank him enough for being so vulnerable, sharing his story. And listen, there's a lot more to know about Chris Kole. It seems like the conversation gets somehow even more interesting when we turn off the microphones, and we have to have him back over again at some point, because he was starting to tell us a story about traveling with Virgil for 13 hours and, hanging out with Norman Smiley and just a buttload of other
Plus,
stuff.
we never talked about, when he and I lived together.
I think
and
there's
all
a lot
the
of
hookers that passed through that
What?
home. Or whatever.
All right. Hey, don't get him in trouble, man. All right. Patreon.com/Iron Wrestling. Maybe perhaps we'll do some bonus episodes with Chris Kole in the near future. Let us know what you guys thought about this episode. And if you haven't listened to the other parts of this interview, go back in the archives, because it's been a nice little journey with Killa, Chris Kole. But that's it for this week. And as we wrap things up, I think we have to give a little personal shout out here.
Okay.
Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know. What are you hearing?
I heard something. A little birdie told me something.
Tweet.
Yep,
Wow, Birdie wanna. That don't work.
Nope, not at all.
Tweet. Birdie wanna say hi, Dean Chard.
What?
Is that my bird voice?
I guess that.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know
Dean Chard.
What popular movie character did you steal that voice from and make it a
You
bird?
shut up. Everything I do is original.
Okay, can you do your leprechaun real quick?
Okay. I am the leprechaun.
That's
Garth, I will kill you.
Wayne Campbell
No, why would you even say that was Wayne?
pretending to be the leprechaun from the Leprechaun films. But yeah, shout out to our boy Dean Chard, good Patreon supporter. We loved all our folks over on Patreon, but if you're not on Patreon, you're missing out. Patreon.com/Iron Wrestling for a buttload of bonus content. Best way to support the show. And sometime before the month's end, I'll be doing another Zoom/StreamYard chat with my $9 and up subscribers. So at the very least, you should try $9. But, I guess you can go lower and do $3 or $5 for video. We're going to have some new video content coming before the end of the year. We're revamping things again over on YouTube. And talking to my boy Sean Flash Robbins, maybe getting something going here in the near future again. You know what? I need better microphones. That's what I need. We need extra microphones for the podcast itself, but maybe some updated gear. So we want to keep this Patreon stuff going strong, but also good content for you people on iTunes or wherever you download podcasts. Make sure you subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review. It creates visibility for the podcast. Follow us on social media at Iron on Wrestling. Follow me on social media. You can find me at Gregory Iron on Twitter. I don't do much there, so go over on Instagram and follow me there instead. Gregory_Iron, Facebook.com/TheHandicappedHero. You can message me on any of those platforms to book me for pro wrestling, motivational speaking, and, of course, for pro wrestling seminars. I got a lot of stuff coming up in the future. I got a busy schedule ahead of me in October. Definitely in November, I'll be in places, which I'll give you guys more info as we come along here. In Buffalo, Indiana, Seattle, I'll be coming back to for the first time since the pandemic. Chicago, Hamilton.
Seattle, you going to see our friends there?
Who's your friends?
Our friends of the show that we have in Seattle.
Who's that?
That one dude.
What dude?
There's a dude that is our friend.
Is there?
Yeah. He's in that area. And so isn't the squirrel girl?
Amira?
Yeah.
She's in Canada. She's in Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, I remember her, and I remember the dude, Steve or something.
There's no Steve.
Steve, he's a DJ.
Nope.
Steve Miggs?
Steve Miggs, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a friend, but, also we have Melissa. I think she's in the Seattle area right now. She lived
Melissa
in Texas
who?
for a while over on Patreon. What?
Oh, Texas Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa Foss.
I'll never forget her.
Yeah, okay. Well, quick to forget, are you? ProWrestlingTees.com/Gregory Iron for my shirts, Aaron shirts, Iron on Wrestling shirts, out-of-print shirts that you'll never find anywhere else. Cameo if you want a shout-out of some sort. It doesn't matter what it is, just as long as it's not, something that's going to get me canceled. Aaron, what would you like to plug?
I'm back on Words with Friends.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Breaking news.
So, beep, 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 beep.
Not necessary.
Aaron Bauer is back on Words with Friends. So, find me on there. I think my name on there is Zingawa 4572912. And then at Fair to Aaron on the gram.
All right.
I can't. It's real. Formerly known as Twitter is a very difficult place to be right now.
I don't like it.
There's a lot of toxicity and a lot of misinformation.
Give us
and
one
a lot of AI things that
before
are
we
going
go.
on.
Give us one thing from Trump's social that you were sent as a message.
Son of a gun! I forgot we were doing this. Okay, give me a hot second here. All right, let's just give. Here's one right now. I'm opening my email, and this is from Donald J. Trump himself.
Wow, him personally.
Yes.
No one else is sending this out for him.
No, I believe it's him because he says I send out messages all through the night. Mm-hmm. So he sent me this one. It says, "Message from President Trump. Fear not, Aaron. I need you to know one thing. I love you.
Oh.
Now more than ever, it's important to come together. Buy my mug as a reminder of that promise to you.
Gotcha.
I will never give up the fight to save America. Before the morning is gone, please claim your Fear Not mug," it's a coffee mug, "to help me make America great again. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, number 45.
Now, claim gives the impression that, like, he's giving it to you because he loves you so much, but, okay. Yep. There's a photo of him fist up. What's he wearing on his face there?
A hat.
It's a hat. It's a hat.
It's
I'm sorry.
the new gray MAGA hat that he designed specifically for me in an email that I haven't read.
Gotcha. I prefer the one that you sent me that he put out right after the debate, where he claimed that in Springfield dogs and cats were being eaten, and everyone knew that it was really bad. It says, "How did I do at the debate? Respond to Trump." But it says, "Before we respond, I also just want to say, I will always love you. So thank you for your support. You really mean the world to me. But if it isn't too much trouble, can you respond by the end of the night?"
probably real horny.
Okay, very nice.
You think?
Was the follow-up like, what are you wearing right now, Aaron?
You should see what I sent him.
I don't want to know. Let's
Okay.
wrap this up. But, hey, come back next week, episode 260.
Oh, we're 9 away, baby.
Okay. So, yeah, the big 269 coming up very shortly. Here.
Countdown to 269.
But thanks for stopping by. Go
Yeah,
to Patreon
thanks.
for more bonus content that we're going to talk about over there. And until then, kiss goodbye.